my staff will. If I ask them about it, they're really. I have a great team. I have a great team here. But I just had, elections were a week ago, and they took a week off to come down and help. And
I say anything I wanted.
Say anything you want.
And so I just give them a straight answer and be like, hey, fantastic.
I live in a purple district, so
Get everything rolling.
I
Just want you guys to be prepared.
I gave her the basic brief, Bob.
Yes, I got a basic brief.
Okay, great. I want you to know that I gave a presentation to Arrow in February of 2023.
Really? Okay.
And they also exonerated me, if that's the right word, from my NDA, which I had signed.
Really?
Yes, they told me, don't worry about your NDA, just tell us what you know. So, and I got a letter from them stating that my story that I gave them is now an official record, historical record in the Arrow archives. So I don't know if you can get access to that, but it's...
Was it in the report at all that they put together this year?
No.
So it's a big thing that they left out.
Oh yeah.
Big thing they left out.
Okay, so it's truly just, that report can be totally discounted.
It's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, my last question to them after I gave my presentation was, are you going to check with the Air Force to verify any part of my story? And they said no. Because they had tried to verify a previous account that was Robert Jacobs. I don't know if you're familiar with that story. He was stationed at Vandenberg Air Force Base with a very advanced camera, video camera. And he shot a video of a test flight of a dummy warhead. It was on an Atlas missile on the Pacific Test Range. And so the dummy warhead leaves the final stage and is flying towards its so-called target in the test area. And the UFO comes over and fires laser lights at this dummy warhead. In fact, it flew a circle around this warhead that was going about.
And he got video of this.
He's got video of it.
Really?
It was confiscated.
Is it in the public?
It was confiscated by the CIA. But this is actual video. And his commander saw it. They both saw it together in front of these members of the CIA. And right after that, they took the film, and who knows where it is.
Well, they also told him this never happened. You'll never speak of this.
Right.
Did he sign a document? Was he forced to sign a document?
No, he did not sign a document.
And he's come forward. He's come forward.
Okay.
He's one of the affidavits you have.
Okay.
He's available, by the way,
Okay.
to be a witness.
Okay.
So I wanted you to know that I have spoken to Arrow. I have also...
And it left it out of the report. Is anyone surprised here?
No.
The federal government, it never ceases to amaze me what they do. The disinformation, the propaganda, the misinformation, just completely, left it out. It doesn't fit their narrative.
But I've got all that documentation. If you want any of it, I'd be happy to provide it to you. Plus, I've got a complete recording of my interview with Arrow. And I told them I was going to record it. They did not object.
Really?
I was not under any kind of, don't say anything to anybody about this, or nothing like that. I didn't testify.
You're happy about life, you're a good driver, you're happy, and
About how many right now?
I can't believe you did that. That's pretty amazing.
Well, I wanted to do it. I wanted to have a record.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
But now he needs to do the same thing before Congress. How many nuclear weapons tampering witnesses do you have access to that could testify?
Okay, in September of 1966, there was a similar incident to mine at Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota. The witness was Dave Schindele, and he's still alive. I spoke to him last week. We had breakfast, and he's more than willing to testify.
And what year was yours?
Mine was 67.
Okay.
There was another one in 67, just 8 days earlier. So within the span of 6 months.
At the same location or a different location?
Different location, different location. That witness is still alive also. His name was Colonel Walter Fiegel, and he, as far as I know, he's still alive and well.
Bob Jacobs is alive, so we're up to 4.
Bob Jacobs is alive and well. All of us could testify. Let's see. So at any rate, within a span of 6 months, UFOs disabled 30 nuclear missiles in our inventory within 6 months. And we've got the witnesses to show it. I've got documentation. I provide.
How did you find the witnesses? How did you stumble upon them or find them?
They found me, really.
Because you told your story.
I told my story publicly
out to
first
you.
in 1994, 96. I went on the Art Bell show. I don't know if you ever heard of Art Bell.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast. But
I was dropping out of high school during that time, so I was waiting tables at a
You had
Waffle
other things
House.
to think
I was
about.
focused on other
like the
things.
prom dress.
He was big.
I never went to prom.
Oh, you
No,
didn't?
I dropped
Oh,
out.
no.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Okay, and so as a result of that interview that I gave in 1996, I received contacts by many supporting witnesses, including Robert Jameson, still alive as far as I know, who can validate the fact that all 10 of my missiles went down.
And you verified these were all active duty service with their DD-214s,
Yes.
all that.
We've all got DD-214s, we've got affidavits. I think Steve provided them.
They're floating around here somewhere.
They're here somewhere apparently, and we'll ask my staff.
But there's a whole nother set of witnesses that we don't have access to, but they're out there. And these are the service guys. These weren't officers. They were up top. These are the ones that saw the UAP, and they're running around like crazy pointing guns at them. And as soon as that event was over, they signed these guys, what, all over the world, just made it disperse?
A lot of them to Vietnam because they were all weapons trained, and they wanted to disperse them. And that's how the Air Force operates. Anytime an incident like this happens, they try to disperse people, send them off.
And they were younger, they had families, and so they didn't come forward.
So they don't talk to each other.
But they might now if the word got out. Fake for a reason.
Yeah.
Can you tell Nancy the feeling that you got when the nukes went down, when they went into no-go? What message did that send to you once you had compiled the evidence of what happened?
Okay, again, that's two questions. First is
How
feeling.
did you feel when it happened? What went
I
through your
felt
mind?
Immediately like we were under attack because of the second call from my security guard upstairs. He was screaming into the phone. He was very frightened. He was babbling. I couldn't make sense out of what he was saying. I had to calm him down. He had all the guards. He had 6 other guards up there. Their weapons were pointed at this object. Basically, I think he wanted me to tell him to go ahead and fire at this thing. I didn't say that. What I said was, make sure the facility is secure and nothing comes in. And it was really his job. His job was security. So if he wants to fire that thing, go right ahead.
Are those
stop
personnel still with us today?
Who knows?
They were younger, so probably.
They have not come to me.
Okay.
But if, it's very certain that they have immunity from any kind of an NDA or oath that they took, they might come forward. I know another gentleman who brought another Minuteman I missile back up on alert after it was shut down by this UFO. And again, that was the Echo flight incident that happened March 16th at Malmstrom Air Force Base. And what he did was he went down, we've got a little maintenance bay. He started going through his checklist of getting the missile back up on alert status. And lo and behold, a UFO, or this was an orange object, hovered right above him. And the guard upstairs asked him to come up and look at it, and he saw it right above him, and he told the guard to report it, but he had to come back and finish his job. So he started going through his checklist, and he'd get to a certain point in his checklist, and the missile was shut down. Well, he tried again. And I was going through a standard procedure checklist to get to that exact same point, the missile shut down. While this object was still above him. He said he tried this many, many times, the same thing happened. And he felt they were demonstrating to him that they knew exactly how our systems work. Exactly.
And then it
That
left.
makes sense.
So what was the message?
And he put the thing back on service.
Yeah, he got it back up on the,
So if there was a message that was being sent to the human race,
yeah.
what was that?
So the message, I think, because these incidents have happened not only in the U.S. but overseas. In my latest book, I've outlined and told the stories of about 13 similar incidents that happened all over the world, including Russia. And in none of those incidents was any significant damage done to the weapons system. In our case, at Malmstrom, there was no equipment that was fried, nothing was damaged. It was simply an intermittent electrical pulse that was given to a particular part of the guidance system of the missile called the logic coupler. And this was proven by Boeing. Boeing did a bench test on this so-called logic coupler, which is part of the navigation or guidance system of the missile. Without that piece of equipment working properly, the navigation system and the guidance system would not properly work. So the missile shut itself down. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
There was no damage.
Yeah.
The missiles were all brought up, back
Yeah.
up on alert within about 24 hours.
Yeah.
So what's that?
And that, to me, that says they were sending us a message about nuclear weapons.
Why do you
Well,
have these?
what's the message?
And WTF, we have nuclear weapons.
Drop
I'm sorry.
them.
Did I
Why?
say something wrong?
Have you
Drop-
seen me in a
drop
hearing
them.
yet?
And this is Congresswoman Mace. That's good. You can do that.
Drop them to the bottom.
We
of
don't
the
use
ocean.
acronyms here, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's what I think. Of course, it's just my opinion. It's
By the
just
way,
speculation.
when you and Bob Hastings wrote the masterpiece book UFOs and Nukes.
He wrote it.
Okay, all right. You helped obviously with it. Great. And so after that book, did some people contact you after the book came out? Because it got a substantial reading.
Yeah, Hastings' book was brought me Robert Jacobs, and there is no question about the fact that UFOs shut down all 10 of my missiles at Oscar flight on March 24th, 1967. Absolutely not. And the Echo flight was, again, we've got a couple of witnesses, the commander and deputy commander of Echo flight have confirmed the same story. UFOs were seen over the sites before their missiles shut down, all 10. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I think
It was fascinating. I
So-
mean, truly. How big were the objects in the sky?
What's that?
How big were the,
40 or 50 feet. It was hard to tell because
was it at night?
there were bright lights at night. It was hard to see inside the light. The light was pulsating,
What color lights were they?
reddish orange is what I was told. Again, my ask, if I had to ask, was I think we could, all four of us at least, would welcome the opportunity to tell this in front of a congressional hearing. I think it needs to be public.
I think it's also the case that if in fact a congressional hearing was scheduled and it was known that they were very much interested in such people testifying, where it was really going to make a difference, I have a feeling a number of people we don't even know about with the credentials would turn up and say, in this case, I'm willing to come forward.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I'll follow up with my staff too, if you send information, find out, where it is, they can brief me on it. I've been traveling. We've been crazy the last 7 days. This is our first week back, so it's super crazy with reorganizing the Congress and everything for the next session. But I'll follow up with my staff too to look at the documents and affidavits you provided. I am more fascinated and confused now than ever because there's just so much.
Welcome to our world.
Oh, I know. I'm now on Reddit, and there's UFO Twitter and but they're reporters now. I didn't know of Schellenberger until this hearing, and now I'm studied up on, holy cow, he had multiple sources, and then we talked about private contractors today and injuries that people, have received based on a crash retrieval program we've been told doesn't exist. So it's just, the math doesn't add up. They're hiding something from us. And so
Absolutely.
And it's extensive. And how much are we spending on this? And then who all is involved and how are they skirting the law, Title 10 and all those things. So it's been highly illuminating and educational for me.
We heard a rumor that there was an attempt to literally stop your hearing altogether.
We heard the rumor too.
Over Immaculate Constellation.
Yeah, we heard a rumor too. I don't know.
But
I was like, I'm holding the hearing no matter what, even if it's like in my office.
But you weren't directly contacted about that.
No, I was not directly contacted, but we heard the rumor also.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So can I ask you just one thing? With people like him and Bob Jacobs and those stories being out there, what would be your next move to get people in front of a hearing?
Doing what you're doing right now, so sending the documents that you have to my office. I would send them to Burchett's office too, and to Comer's office. He's the chairman of oversight. I also sit on the House Armed Services Committee. So I think this is interesting. I don't know that the chairman of House Armed Services would ever have a hearing on this, but this is like definitely House Armed Services. I would love to do it over there if they would let me. Now, would they let me? I'm not a chairman over there, not yet. I could, if I'm a subcommittee chairman, I can go to the big chairman and say, hey, I'd like to do this. Because I think we've not had one on House Armed Services, and this is very military oriented. But always a backstop is oversight as well, depending upon what the chairman wants. And to do this hearing, I had to get permission from leadership. So I'll look through it, I'll sift through it with my staff and see if we can come up with a plan. I mean, I'm fascinated by it. I'm more fascinated now. I have more questions. I mean, I could have asked questions all night. I mean, I just had, every time someone would answer a question, I had more questions.
Right.
And, so you have 5 minutes,
I mean,
which is not a good way to,
and
what's that?
The implications of what he's saying, even if it's a slight possibility that something is out there.
Well, even if it's our own technology that we haven't identified, turning nukes on and off.
That would be a big thing too.
It'd be huge. Right. I mean, either way, it's like a win-win. I love the idea of it. I have to talk with leadership and my committee staff, but it's something that I find you very credible. I look forward to reading what you guys have and putting it together and have my staff put together. It's very interesting, and I think today was a success.
Yes. So
I don't think it stops. If today was a total dud, it'd be over. I mean, if this went, but there's so much to unpack after today. I don't think people realize the amount of different information that was valuable. You got the documents about Immaculate Constellation entered into the record. We talked about crash retrieval programs, reverse engineering, injuries that people have received at crash sites. So there's just this, I have to unpack it all because it was a lot. It was a lot of, I think, valuable insight. We even talked about which private contractors do submersibles versus doing aeronautics.
Yeah, I'm sure
with
that
UAPs.
gave me a headache.
Yeah, but I mean, like we actually named contractors. We didn't do that last time. So, piecing it together is kind of like a patchwork quilt, and more people will come forward. So,
I'm going to email Sean the electronic file, as well as links to certain materials that might be helpful to you. I'll get that out by tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great. Nothing here happens fast, but I would love to do ETs and nukes because it's valid. Whether it's our technology or something from out of this world, it's huge. And thank you for coming over and introducing yourself.